When we step into a position of leadership in any way, whether that be as a coach or online as some sort of influencer or anything, it depends on how deep our intention is when we post, when we teach, when we coach, when we build out our programs, but also our personal determination to keep leveling up, to keep expanding internally, to keep doing that inner work will reflect in our programs, in our content, and in what we do. And so often, personally, I can only speak for myself, right? Like when I create content and everything like that, I'm also learning, like when I channel, I'm actually the one that is learning, when I do this work. So I'm constantly, also having to do the inner work, having to correct myself, having to sit and ground in my heart, having to examine my own faults, my own pain points, my own lack of work, inner work that I may need to do, right? So what I'm discovering in real time that I would like to share with you is this phenomena of being too much in the head and not as much in the heart space or heart center, which if you're anything like me, you may be able to resonate with this. I am always primarily in my head, less in my body, less in my heart, mostly in my head. So I'm somebody that ruminates and thinks and overthinks and thinks again. And it's at some point it can even become like an addiction. And so an issue with this is that we're not in our heart space, right? So our body cannot properly maintain its equilibrium. We can even make ourselves unwell like this. We can have, due to this, an overactive crown chakra, which leads to an influx of anxiety and depression, all of these things. So, and also, we can be prone to, especially if you're energetically open or if you receive a lot of information, you have to ground. You have to ground from head all the way to the toes, and you have to sit in the heart, not so much in the head. Because at the end of the day, information overload is unhelpful. It's useless, right? And I like it because, I love to study, and then you can go and teach and you can create and all this stuff. But then you're not happy. You know what I mean? Like you have to, if you're doing any of this type of work, come from a full cup, like come from a full space. And it's not just if you are doing this type of work. Everybody listening to this, it doesn't matter what you do in your life. To be in the heart is to be self-healing constantly, self-regenerative, and able to pour into other people, which is your best gift, which is your purpose, really. Like if you are taking care of people online and coaching and building out programs and seminars and all this, but your personal relationships are not doing well, or they need fixing, or they're not existent, then that needs to be taken care of first. See, like the thing about business, all business, is that it's rooted in purpose. And the thing about purpose is that it starts with the heart, it starts with the self, and it emanates outward. So this is why I always say that in order to really love yourself, you have to love God. You have to know God. And in order to know yourself, you have to know God. Because you'll see that is the way to get to self-love and self-knowledge and self-awareness. Like it's one and the same. When you know self, you know God, and when you know God, you know yourself. Actually, the way that I personally did it is I first sought to understand God and love God, and then I was taught self-love and self-understanding. And I think honestly that's the only way it works. Like I don't think we can if we have some wounds or trauma or something, I don't think it's possible to really seek self-love without having a mirror or reflective surface, such as the love of God, to guide us or aid us in that love of self, to show us love of self. Like God will show you who you are, you know what I mean? And then you fall in love with the soul. You fall in love with the soul. And then you can fall in love with the souls of all, of everybody. Like you see that there's no separation basically between you and anything else or anyone else. Even the most vile, miserable energies, they deserve, I know this is a stretch, sounds like it, but they deserve and need the love of God. They need it. Arguably, they need it more, And so I think to be compassionate in today's world, in today's day and age, is a constant feat. It's a constant journey. I don't want to say journey. It's a constant accomplishment, really. Because it's not like a degree, like you just get it once and, oh yeah, I have my degree. No, absolutely not. Healing, self-awareness, self-understanding, understanding of God, knowledge of self, knowledge of God, and love of God and love of self. It's constant. It's a constant. Like, we have to always be correcting ourselves and healing ourselves. Like, it never stops. And the thing is that you will have ebb and flow, though, just like the winter and summer seasons. Like, you will have ebb and flow. That's why, you hear those quotes that say, sometimes the best thing that you can do for yourself is to have fun, or the most healed thing you can do is to go out and have fun. Like, yeah, of course, because we're still in a human body. We require contrast for the sake of expansion. We require it so that we can desire more things. And then so when we desire, we expand, because there has now been expansion happening in the universe. So it's brilliant, actually. Like, when one person expands into more or desires more, they open up a pocket for that more to come in, and it adds to the consistent expansion of the universe. You may even have seen that during certain periods of time, like 2015, 2016, this and that, if you're online on social media, people always say that 2016 was like the best year because it was like the King Kylie era, and and there was all this like stuff that was trending, like colored hair and like certain Tumblr photos and certain music and stuff and fashion. Like, that is creation. Like, that vibration was upheld by a few key people in the world, on the planet, and then the rest of like media like followed, and it became like social trends. Like, social trends emerged from that vibrational frequency that allowed everybody to be a part of that vibrational frequency. This is also the thing with music. I love certain musicians. Like, let's take Ariana Grande, for example. Love her. She's a household name, right? So her music has for sure changed the vibrational frequency of certain spaces in time. Do you understand? So this is important because it means that today your specific frequency can change the planet. That's how integral we are. We are not pieces of the universe. No. We are the whole universe, and we are one and the same. So each person is a whole universe. Because why? Because we have God sitting within our heart. In the Vedas and throughout the Vedas, actually, it speaks about how Krishna is seated within everybody's heart as the super soul. Even in the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, it talks about it. Even illustrates how Paramatma Vishnu Krishna sits within the super soul of every living being, every tree, every plant, every animate object. And by the way, I just want to put a little disclaimer here that maybe no one has heard before, but Krishna, Christ, Vishnu, these are all the same. They're all the same. They're all the same energy, primordial energy. So when we fight or squabble about things like religion, we are playing into the trap of separation, of dichotomy, illusion. Dualism. There's no dualism. There's only oneness. There is dualism that amounts into oneness. It adds up like the yin yang, you know what I mean? It becomes one. White and black becomes one. Plus and minus becomes one. They need each other to flow in constant, in constant spinning, in constant being. I hope that makes sense. That's why there is Radha Krishna. Radha is Krishna also. Radha is Krishna's feminine archetype energy. So, this is important. Why? Because when we understand that there's no separation, we see clearly. See, separation is born from fear, which is born from... It's like that story in the Bible when... was it Eve or Adam? Who ate the apple? Who bit into it? Eve, right? Please let me know. She ate from the tree of knowledge. So that symbolizes awakening, the awakening process in many ways, of course. But it's kind of like, why I'm bringing this up is, if you awaken unto duality or fear, you will be stuck there. If you awaken unto oneness truth, you will stay there. You will not be able to go back. Once you have a spiritual awakening, you cannot go back. So it depends what type of illumination you want. And it will be so. It will be your reality. In that way, they say ignorance is bliss. You have to be ignorant of something to be illuminated unto another thing. Do you understand? So it is important to be ignorant to fear. It is important to be ignorant to fear and to treat fear for what it is, as ignorance. Because fear is conditioning. It's programming. It's splitting of the self, which is always whole, one, absolute. So when we understand this, we understand that we're not different from God. Do you get it now? That is why... and this is hard to understand, because in scripture, throughout all scripture, it says, no, we must have love and devotion for God. We are here because we are separate from God and to understand God. Yes, of course. But when we bite the apple, let's say, of total illumination, oneness, awakening, the pineal is blasted open, we are awakened. Then what happens is we actually can merge. We can merge with God, and that is the ultimate goal, is it not, of human life? And this is known as moksha. And at the time of departing the body, this is the goal. This is the goal. So that's why they say, like, death is the final test, because it is, quite literally. And so our whole life we are to be preparing for it. That is why they say chant the Maha Mantra. When I say they, I mean literally everybody who is aware of this knowledge says chant the Maha Mantra, because this vibration can save you or allow for you to go where we all want to go at the time of death, which is ultimately with God. So that is why it is so important. And sound vibration is the most powerful thing in Kali Yuga. Like, we see it all the time with music. That's why the music industry is so heavily infiltrated with not so positive energies, because it's very powerful. Music is very powerful. And music can help you ground into the heart, which is ultimately the goal of human life, so that we stay there, we remain there. Like, how many of us are cut off from our heart center, from our heart space, Like, I know I can be. And it takes love. to be successful in this life. It takes love. You have to love. You have to have a lot of love to feel, to be, to give. And it does not ever get drained. Actually, it does not ever get depleted because it comes from source. It comes from God. So there is no way to drain it when you are connected. So people seek love, right? From like romantic relationships and this and that, because the soul ultimately wants two things. It wants to receive love and it wants to give love. Super simple, right? So that's why like we love relationships and all of that, because it's so natural. It feels so good to the soul. And so people who have unhealthy relationships in their life, where they were brought up in unhealthy relationship dynamics, like they end up, having psychological problems because they do not have a full identity or a full, they have not found love. They have not felt or received love. So then you get split. You get all these conditions like split nature, split personality, narcissism, all of that. It's the same wound, it's the same core wound that they have not felt true love. They've not been able to have it or give it, you see. So it is important because all these things, narcissism and whatnot, can be healed from. Everything can be healed from. PTSD, split personality, it can all be healed from, okay? So the way to heal it is to work on the soul, to have soul work, to have soul correction. That is what modern medicine is missing, So, yeah, like all psychological, you go to any psychologist and they'll say, they'll prescribe you antidepressants and say you have imbalanced brain chemistry, but no one questions why. It's not just the present day environment. It's also the past environments that have led to soul pain, So people need a lot of spiritual assistance. So it's the most important thing to be in the heart, to ground oneself in the heart. And that's why the work is constant, the practice is constant, because only we can set ourselves free by connecting to the light of the Creator and allowing for that to teach us, guide us, make us whole, And arguably, it's like the most important thing. It should be taught in schools. It should be taught in therapy, in relationship dynamics and everything. So this is what I wanted to share with you today. If you don't know how to ground in the heart, there are many techniques for this, many meditations you can do. Meditation is extremely powerful. It changes your everything immediately from the body outward into physical, tangible reality. You can meditate your way to new cars, to new numbers in the bank account, to new health, to new beauty, by the way. And I teach you more in my school community, which is linked down below in this audio, around this audio somewhere. And I go super into depth on how to heal. My school is kind of the school that people need, that everybody needed when they were a child. That is the type of school that I run on school. So it's worth checking out. At least see it for yourself, because my life's work has gone into building it, and I need people to access this. I'm even considering just keeping it at a very low price, because I just really want people to access this information. So other than that, where else can you find me? Seema G everywhere. I will have all of my links around this audio. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. Again, remember, ground in the heart, because from the heart flows all things. It says in the Bible as well, out of the heart, the mouth speaks, I believe, right? So that's also very true. You could tell the condition of the heart through what people choose to discuss and how they choose to say things. We are very interconnected beings. We are interconnected with ourselves fully. All cells in the body communicate constantly to one another. We're also interconnected with everybody else around us. Our thoughts are not private. In the most beautiful way, we can send healing, love, joy, and abundance to all. And this is our path, our direct path to all types of riches in this life. Most importantly, heart wealth, heart riches. Always give with love. I love you guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.